Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about, for a lot of you new turners, we get questions a lot about when do I need to sharpen my tool? How do I know I need to sharpen my tool? My general response is, well, when it quits cutting, you need to sharpen your tool. That's not necessarily the entire truth. So we got a piece of just 2x4 I cut up to make a square. Pine is pretty hard to get a good cut on unless you have a really sharp tool. So we're going to use a couple of different tools. We're going to start with a roughing gouge. One I have sharp, one is extremely dull. We're going to see the difference in how those cut, and then we're going to move on to, I'm going to use bowl gouges, because, well, I use bowl gouges all the time for just about everything. And I got one that's pretty dull, so we're going to take a look at sharpening that and then the cut we can get using it. We're also going to look at a spindle gouge sharpened as a detail gouge, and we'll look at sharpening that and the cut I use or can get with that. If you've seen my finial videos, then you've seen the detail gouge. So let's start, like I said, piece of pine. I'll start over here with the dull tool, and we'll look at that cut, and then I'll finish it up over here with the sharp tool and look at that cut. I'm not wearing a face shield right now, so I can talk and describe what's happening. So, dull tool, new handle though, turned this yesterday. That's why my tool's dull. Pretty, huh? Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to turn this up. It's a square spindle, so I'm going to turn it up to about 1500. Now, even though I'm knocking down the corners, you can see I'm not getting any kind of a cut. I mean, you're not going to have shavings when you're knocking down corners. But I'm having to push, and there's just nothing. So let's quit playing with that and use the sharp one. Can you hear the difference? And the speed that it's going in. And there's just no effort. No effort involved with that. So let's take a look. Alright, see, so you saw I played on this edge with the really dull one for twice as long as I played with this. And you can see it's just brutally tore out. Where, move you closer. Alright, well, so here's the dull tool, and you saw how long that took versus the sharp tool, and you can tell the finish on it right away, and you saw how long that took. So there's one example. Look at that. That's just brutal. Dull, sharp. So I'm gonna go ahead and round this out completely. I'll use the sharp tool, and then we'll move on. Okay, so now we're going to use this 1/2 inch bowl gouge. It's extremely dirty, as you can see. I just got done turning some pine that was pretty nasty. So it's still fairly sharp. I mean, it'll cut you, but it's not sharp. So we're going to take a look at this. Again, we'll kick the speed up there at about 1500. You see all the chip out I'm getting right here? It's because it's pushing too much. And it's not really cutting. Let's get the best cut we can with it anyway. So let's try to make a little bead. Damn, that was actually a pretty good cut. Alright, so I know this one is dull. It's a different brand, but you'll get the point. There, hear that? See that? It's not cutting, it's just dust. And I'm having to push. Yeah, it's not cutting at all. I mean, just brutal. Let's look at it. There you go. Good example. See all the torn out? It's having to push dull tool with no kind of cut. Or a really bad cut. Now we're going to go over that with the tool I just sharpened. If I can find where I put it. There it is. Alright, so same. And you just saw me sharpen this one. No effort. Ow. And look at that. I mean, just as pretty. See, that doesn't even need sanding. If you were to sand this, that would be probably, shoot, I'd probably start at 400 on that. And that's still. Now there's a number of ways to sharpen your tools. A lot of jigs out there. Or freehand. I sharpened my roughing gouge just freehand. Now my spindle, I have the Grizzly wet with Tormac hardware. And I know this needs to be set up to, well, to what I'm going to set it up as. And it only takes a second to sharpen the tools. Now I prefer the whetstone because it doesn't take as much steel off. And it's just, I think it's just really handy. But see, now that's sharp. So let's go see what kind of cut we get on it now. So, new turners, old turners. Sharpen your tools. It doesn't take very long, and you get a great finish. Now you can't get this kind of finish with a carbide tip. I guess you might could. I don't know. But no sanding. If you are going to try to get a super high gloss, then you'd sand that, and you'd start at about 600, versus the dull tool, where you have to start at 80 and work your way all the way up. And by that point, you're going to be, you know, full of dust and irritated. So that's how you know. If you have to put in effort, your tool is dull. If you get a really crappy cut, your tool is dull. If you're getting only sawdust off, your tool is dull. Oh, I said we were going to look at the detail gouge, which is chattering, so it's getting dull. Well, it's getting dull, and I got two really narrow points. A little effort, but not a lot of cut. So let's go sharpen this one up. Alright, so like I said, there's a lot of different ways to sharpen the tool. This tool I usually don't use on the wet grinder. I usually pull out the dry grinder, because it has such an odd shape. But this one also changes depending on what I needed to do. Yeah, she's sharp. Let's go see. I mean, you can see right away the difference in the cut. See how shiny that is? That's just from rubbing your bevel and having a sharp tool. See, that requires no sanding. Alright, so I hope that kind of cleared up some questions. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment. And as always, have a wonderful day.